Mm. Hello. So the recording has been started, and today we are gathered here to conduct a debate on the topic: Should voting be made compulsory in democracy? And I am supporting the ideology, and Ayush is against voting in democracy. Against voting should be made compulsory in democracy. So we are taking 2 minutes to plan, and here we go. Start. Huh?
Yes.
Are we in, or do you need more time?
No, I think we can start.
Okay. Yeah. So let me start. What is government? Government is actually for the people, by the people, and to the people. And one of the basic ideology of democracy is that we can do like we have different rights, and one of the rights is right to vote. And let me start by stating certain facts why I feel voting should be mandatory. First and foremost, when voting is made mandatory, we have a better decision, we have a better probability, we have a better outcome. And like all the adults who are very much aware of the surrounding, when they vote, there is a better leader which we can get. Secondly, I feel that it is also a movement where that there's unity shown in the entire country, where they go, where it is like a celebration kind of moment. Even the eldest, like very old people, they also gather, let us vote. And even the 18-year-old, like there is a good, very good average. Somebody from one occupation or the other occupation, everybody's vote is multiplied into one. It is not like rich will get more weightage and poor will get less weightage. So everybody is considered as equal, and there is a great sense of unity in voting. So for that, at least for the full country's country's movement, or whatever, like to show the unity of the country nation, there should be voting. Voting must be made mandatory. Third is, there are also, like I have recently watched a movie called as Newton, and in that movie, there was a very remote place, and for just conducting vote on that day, a lot of things have been done to get the vote. So it is also, voting should be made compulsory, because a lot of efforts are being taken, so that voting booths are there, and different sector people work together to get the voting done. So their efforts should be respected. Fourth, also I would like to mention, there are holidays for people, who, so that they can chill, they can relax, and they can vote So that is like there's no like you have to go for a job and then go for voting. Like you are given proper holiday, and sometimes at the voting booth there are refreshments also. And fifth, I would like to state that if for the very old people, like physically disabled people as well, many a times there is voting booth that is coming to your place, and then they make certain facilities so that you do not have to traverse a longer distance, and you can vote. So I think there should be no debate considering that voting is mandatory or not, because it you are acting for like you are acting in the support of your nation. You are working for doing something for your nation, and it is your right. You shouldn't even question it. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yes, very well said, Kevan. But we also have to consider the other picture too. Though, as you mentioned, voting is very important and like very necessary for our nation. But we have to also consider that with respect to India, most India's population, India is a youth country with uh, people less than with consisting of more than 50% of people who are less than of 30 years of old, 30 years of age, and if we made voting compulsory, then there is a possibility that they, uh, young generation like the Gen Zs or the Gen Alpha and everything nowadays, whatever the new terminologies which is now into the picture, they tend to vote without any proper knowledge. That they don't do their own research; they just do for the sake of it. And also, they can be easily manipulated through these social media trends. They can follow any political leader who can target them through social media, and they will believe the social media rather than the uh, what uh, what is actually good for the country. And if voting is made compulsory, then this will be a big issue because there will be many unnecessary vote which can lead to a party which is not really good in nature can get elected, which is not really good for the country, can and which can lead to the corruption. Also, another issue with voting made compulsory, that some people who are voting outside their state will be difficult for them to travel just for one day to vote and then go back to their normal life. So most of the folks travel to the different places for their work. So for them, it will be really difficult to vote. Yes.
So the first point which Ayush mentioned was about campaigning and corruption, and for that I would like to say there should be a very legal campaigning, like and a very the like law should be very legal, that no leaders could give money to like bribe anyone to take get votes, or certain laws should be made, and the law should be very concrete. I think it is a very valid concern that these certain things are taking the attention of teenagers or anybody. uh, they are deviating from voting, and they feel that voting is not necessary. But I think that is not the root cause. The root cause is not voting, but root cause is proper campaigning and proper leaders. And this is what I think, like if you if you don't make voting mandatory, but if you focus on having better campaigns and like very educated ways of getting whatever from understanding what the party is going to do is much needed than canceling voting. This is what I 100% believe it.
Even though if the campaigning is good, if there are no bribes, but still they can be the young minds will easily be misled through the social media, and it is not social media is not very regulated, and anyone can post anything nowadays, and it won't be easy for the government to regulate everything. They won't have total control over the media, and also there could be some influencers uh, um who has taken some bribe or some are into some corruption through the any political leader which they are following, and they can share about this their propaganda through their social media platforms, and you can't really control that, right? So the regulation part won't really help here. Also, another point I would like to share is, like in India, the age to marry is 21 years of age for male candidates, males, but for voting it is 18. So, like if you are not even like mature enough to take your own decision, like whom you should marry at the age of like 18, then how can a 18-year-old vote for the election? Ignore the last point. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was a little irrelevant. Uh, like again, one thing which Ayush mentioned was about having. Okay, then when do you think is the correct age for making people vote? Is if like if the age of
Yeah,
marriage? Yeah, continue, continue.
it's a point as well, like it is going a little bit off topic.
Yeah. Let us understand it.
Like ignore the last point, just continue from my last point. Like I mentioned about the influencers part, like they're propagating the fake some others political ideology,
Uh,
then
uh,
their followers will follow them.
um, Again, I feel there should even in the early age, like there are various competitions held, there are various activities held in the school itself, not who are not allowed to vote, but certain things are made sure that they understand about voting. So a try effort is made through education, that people are children are aware at a very very early stage. But when you say at 18, then I think it is very hard to control whatever a child wants to do, whatever adult wants to do in that time. But you can always, like a parent, or like you should be smart enough to understand the campaigns very well. Like again, as I stress on this, there should be better campaigns, there should be a very good debate between two three parties, where they get certain like attribute certain things which are in problem, and they focus well on that. And I don't think that is there should be better campaign which should make people educated enough to know the surrounding, rather than I don't think that is valid argument to like consider at least.
Okay, if you are saying that if they should be very well educated and should be aware about all the campaigns and should be able to make better decisions, but what about someone who is working outside, like any, like most of the people work in the different states, or many laborers from all over the country move to the different states for, like most of the population are most of the people in India are displaced to
Hmm.
different states.
Hmm.
Then how will they know like every detail about what's going on in the state? Like to get some awareness, to get some knowledge about what is going on in your state, you need to have like proper research, right? You can't do that like in just one hour or so.
Uh, if a person like has like his property or his stuff or his relatives or parents in the state, then I think by some means he should be aware that it could influence it later, and he should make a good decision for himself and for his future. A wise person will always think about his future and in that direction. And if a person does not really care about whatever is there in the surrounding, I think then he won't even care like who is getting elected and all. So I think I believe that wise person will always come to his place. He or she will be aware through his like relatives and surroundings to make decisions over voting. And my question to Ayush is like, since I mentioned a different thing, like for physically disabled people also the voting booths are gathered, and there are lots of like not it is not just a one day effort, like 10 12 days effort is going on for conducting votes, conducting elections. So my question to you is, if you are saying it is not mandatory, aren't you like putting like aren't you not valuing the aren't you showing no value to the efforts made by like of lakhs and crores of investment?
Still, if you are spending so much money on election, then how will we spend the money for the development part? Like if there are only limited voters, we can the initial investment required for the voting, like whatever the preparation required, the security measures and all the ballots which we require, everything cost money. All the EVMs machine, and like if this money is reallocated to like better use for better development, then I think it will be more beneficial. And voting should be limited to someone who is like actually serious about voting, who is aware of everything, and not to just voting should not be done just for the sake of it. Like, without knowledge you shouldn't vote.
Okay, I could get two major points which Ayush mentioned. One was regarding the investment made. I think it is very valid that you make such investment on security and all EVMs, because I see my future, like the future of the nation lies in that. and I think it should be valued very much more than that. And it is not justified to say that you cannot spend so much on elections, because considering our country the first most populated country, I think it is 100% valued that so much things are done for voting. But the second point which Ayush mentioned is a point of concern, which is like, if you're not aware of the surrounding, then why to vote? So here comes my one point which I want to mention is about nota. uh, None of the above. And I think currently you have that option to do nota, you have the option to choose nobody. You have to just go and cast your vote, and nota also has a lot of power. Like if you go maximum, if you cross the limit of nota, like if maximum is in nota favor, then obviously there'll be a lot of like everybody will understand the government, whoever are the candidates are not good. So I think there are provisions. You have to just go and raise your voice, even in nota or even in anything you want.
Uh, yes, but as you mentioned that security is important and like it is definitely beneficial, but still there are many. Still there are never mind. So still there are many incidences when the EVM's machine get hacked and the voting data is manipulated so many times. So like how do you think we will encounter that?
Again, let me restate. Like I have said it once, that we can, voting is not the root issue. The root issue is the law and the like proper facilitation of whatever legality is done, like proper actions, and it is not about voting. So once maybe your point of concern is getting stronger laws, and not your point of concern should be getting stronger law and not stopping making voting not mandatory. Okay, my question to you, Ayush, is by stating this, I aren't you going against the constitution which allows us the right to vote?
Uh, like uh, like voting is it's a right, but it's not always necessary that you should vote, right? If you are like not aware of anything, then why? What is the point of voting?
But you have
And like
nota, you
instead
have
of
options like nota, and I think you should consider yourself adult enough to make decisions for your future and for the future of the nation. Like you cannot just be reluctant on what you can vote or what you cannot. Are you stuck? I cannot see you. Hello, 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 hello. Ayush.
हेलो लाइट भी देखो उसमें हॉटस्पॉट
Okay.
कनेक्ट करता
Okay.
चालू इतने फास्ट कनेक्ट सॉलिड में नाइस
Okay. So your question was okay. Let me just brush up with certain things. You asked me. Your question, last question was, if you're not aware, what is the point of voting? So my question to you was, adult person will obviously consider his future, the future of the nation. If you're just ignoring that, you have to research on your own. You should know like which party, which you should know which party will do better for betterment. So if you are ignoring that, it will again affect you in the future somewhere or the other. So it is like you are making a decision for yourself. You cannot be just ignore it and say that I'm not aware, let me not vote. And again, I have mentioned about facts like nota, and also you have somewhere mentioned about social media, where you can obviously raise your points, or you can gather certain peoples and raise your voice, that so and so party has so and so faults, so and so party has so and so faults. So I think it is just you taking responsibility for yourself and for nation, and if everybody does that, it will be like making a wide impact.
So basically, instead of making voting compulsory, all your points revolved around like making awareness is more important, right? So like, without so our first step should be like step should be to make more people more aware and be made should be improved like to make a better decision instead of making voting compulsory.
What about the people who are aware?
Like they can vote. I'm not saying voting shouldn't be banned as such. Like voting is allowed. They can vote, right?
But then again, I have mentioned about the facts like nota is existing. Then why can't you just for one day for your country go and vote and come back? so that you have a better decision even in the
But
favor of
no,
nota.
again, so if most of the people are like not aware, then if they just vote for the nota, then how will the deserving party get selected? If only the quality candidates who only quality voters only voted, then the deserving party will get elected, right? Like if everyone starts voting for nota without any awareness or without any research, they they will just go in with the mindset that I haven't done any research. I won't vote for any party. So let me just vote for Nota. And if everyone goes with this mindset of voting Nota, if they are not aware, then the deserving party won't get a chance, right?
Okay,
So
first.
the quality should matter instead of just making voting compulsory and increasing the quality. So
Okay,
yes.
first thing which I would like to say is when one rotten fruit can destroy all the other fruits. So if one person or a group of people decides that we are not aware, let us not vote, and that will again make it very common to other people to not vote. So gradually and eventually the number of voters will decrease, and so it makes sense when you make it mandatory for everybody to vote, so that everybody takes this responsibility. Otherwise everybody will procrastinate to be aware about their surroundings. They will be like, whatever is happening, let it happen. So how do you have to face tackle this issue?
Again, like similar point, I would like to reiterate. Even if you made voting compulsory, it's not necessary they will not necessarily they will do the research. They can just go for the sake of it and just vote
But they will
without any research. Not everyone will prefer researching, right? They don't. Not everyone are well aware, and if this is the case, then they will vote for any party or nota. So in your scenario, like in the ideal case, if voting if is made compulsory, everyone does their research and do their analysis and then only vote. But it is not a very in the realistic world. This is not the case. Like most of the people will not do the research. They will just vote for the sake of it if it is made compulsory.
okay. Mm. So uh, so the whole thing you are saying is that people should be more can you just come back to whatever your question was at the end?
Uh, I was just saying that if voting is made compulsory, then again, not in the idealistic world, everyone will do the research, do their analysis, and then vote. But which is not the case in the real world. Like, not everyone will do their research. Instead, they will just vote for the sake of it and not going to do any research and vote for any random party or not, and which will not really count. Right?
Ah, okay. You meant to say this. Okay, but whenever a person votes, for example, today if I go to voting and whatever government is there, I'm not satisfied. Then I'll be more responsible for next time whenever I vote. I'll be aware that certain thing is not going well with this party. Let me change it. Let me shift it to such person. So it is also a way of trialing by the by the public, like whoever he or she can choose, and later he will be like more educative to do make his or her decisions. So when you say it is not compulsory, you actually take away their freedom of choice also.
Mm. So I think we are just reiterating the points now. So I think it's better if we proceed,
Okay, fine. Yeah.
unless you have any other questions or points.
Mm, no, I don't have. We can go ahead. Okay, one thing you have mentioned about was that the EVMs and all are getting hacked. I think if like, again I would say like I'm advocating blockchain over here. Like if it is like implemented very well, then it is very hard to change any of the votes, any of the things. So if technology advancements could be made, and the other stuff, if any group or any people, like any community also, they are reluctant or ignorant towards voting, it will again take away the spirit of other surrounding people, and I think it will again create wrong impacts. So voting should be made compulsory, and nota is there. There are so many other facilities, like you can just go against the entire voting system by pressing nota, so that even that freedom is given to the people. One day holiday is there, every other facilities are given. And why not one day for the nation and for yourself and for your future? Why can't you just do it? With this note, I would like to end. Do you have anything?
Like votation, election doesn't happen in one day, right? You have to take. It happens many times and not just one time. We don't follow that one nation, one election yet.
But you get holiday. No, I'm not
It,
saying for like considering the entire national point of view, but for your like what that day when you are getting to vote.
again, it's not just about one day, right? You have to do your research. For that, you will need some more time, and you can't take so much time of your work. Right? Not everyone will be able to do that.
Okay, so we are reiterating same things. So let us go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh, conclusion. No, feedback.
पक्षी झाडून आपलं परत त्याच सांगले.
Feedback. Feedback.
Yes.
I think we were lacking points today.
Yes, we are not really comfortable with this topic.
Yeah.
Like not too much aware also.
One bad thing which I did was I mentioned that there should be no debate on this topic, which was very bad. I realized it later. And one bad thing you did was you spoke something about marriage. Marriage is. I could have caught you easily, but then good you said like let us not listen to that.
I was a little confused with the like top. For me, I for during my GDPI preparation, I prepared about the one nation, one election, and some similar points about the democracy. So, like it was a little bit confusing in my mind. So, like that point came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Also, when you said that there should be no debate, just watch the video again and watch my reaction that time.
I got it. I got it. Okay, yes. So let us go to the
But
ideation
one good thing today was it was like very kind like a real debate kind of like it was very heated argument, so it was
heated
a good
argument.
thing,
Yes,
I
we
think.
both stuck to whatever we believed, whatever we have to
Yes,
say.
like instead of just coming to the middle ground, we were sticking to our points, which was nice, I felt.
Yes. One more thing I would like to say, like certain points like nota, I had written before, but I thought that you will be raising it later, so I did not mention in my point section. So maybe henceforth, also while stating points, I'll just point two or three things so that I can use them as a wildcard whenever you are asking me any questions.
Hmm. Yeah, there was one more point which I just recalled. Like there is a chances of fights or any riots happening during election.
Uh,
It is a possibility like many political parties propagating their agenda and many people fighting.
mm,
Maybe I could have mentioned
yeah,
this.
you could have mentioned that, but I would have said just the law should be more stricter. I would have said that. Yeah, yes. Can we take some time to think from others' perspective, or do you want to add
Yeah,
anything else?
just before that, I think like from the feedback part, I think most of your like answers to my questions revolve around the very idealistic world, and mostly it goes to government laws, government implying something, and
Hmm.
people becoming more smarter. And you are not taking a holistic consideration of every population. Like you are maybe very fixated to very few kind of people, maybe
Hmm. Or maybe I'm
like
trying to just
not taking.
give my entire responsibility on something and just be like, why?
Yeah, kind of you are delegating everything, like not most of your solutions are like nothing very practical or immediate. Like most of the things happens like in like if such person do this, then only it will be solved, and
Uh-huh.
your problem is nullified because of this.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time I felt this.
Even I felt so just now. But what would have been my answer to those stuff? Like you saying that it could be hacked or EVMs could be. So I don't really know like what is the working there. So I'll just say there should be more legally compact rules. What would you have said in the situation? No, I agree to whatever you're saying, but
uh,
impromptu, I don't know anything about like how the EVM systems are going. So that is the most safer option which
mhm.
I had.
Yeah, even I am not really aware. I think we should like think from other side right now.
Okay. Yeah. I can't hear you.
I will get some water.
Yeah. Do you need more time, Ayush?
I cannot really don't know anything like what I would additional points. Like
Uh,
maybe you could have said about if voting is made compulsory, then no minority will be left behind. Like there will be no discrimination among to them. Maybe
I said this like everybody's vote is like weighted one, not like rich has more weightage, poor has less weightage. I tried to say that, but maybe I should have made it more clearer. Can you hear me? Hello.
yes, yes,
Okay. So
yes, yes.
some do you want to say anything more?
No, that
Okay,
was it.
some points from your side which I have is first is queues. There are certain sometimes there are very long queues and even traffic and all. So it is not that like it is not that easy process to go from like even now the voting booths are very less like you have to travel somewhere even if you have holidays like you have to spend some energy to go, so maybe you could have mentioned that, but a very stronger point could have been where I have mentioned about democracy. You could have also said about everybody has a right to choice, and if they are not willing to vote, it is on them. I think you should have stuck to that. Am I lagging?
No, no, it's fine.
And third thing is, I spoke about nota, and nota laws are not yet, I think, very much concrete enough. Like if there is nota in majority, they go to the second maximum, or they conduct the elections again. There are certain things which are not yet clear, and maybe you could have stuck with something on that line. Other than that,
I no idea about that. Yeah.
uh-huh. Other than that, I think some of your good points were of the like different shade, which I actually liked. Like somebody will need to travel from a long distance to come, and about knowledge, which you have said, like people are not that knowledge aware. So can we have a both conclusion of our GD and then go to timeline? Do
Yes.
you want to take the lead?
Sorry.
Do you want to take the lead, or shall I go ahead?
Uh, okay, I'll do the conclusion.
Mhm.
Okay. Mm, yeah. To conclude, I think it was a good debate. Some very heated argument we had. To like summarize everything, like what we did. Uh, the reasons why voting should be made compulsory because it will turn out to a better voters count and can lead potentially lead to better democracy where which will also make sure that everyone will vote and which will also make them focus more on the research part than just for vote then just voting for the sake of it. But on the other side, we also had to consider the uh, problems when if everyone votes, then there could be issues of uh, not quality votes instead of voting any random parties, which can lead to corruption. Against them, some stricter action should be taken, and good laws should be made against them.
Yeah. To
Yes, yes.
to add on to that, I think Ayush summarized it well, and I think yeah, the law should be more stricter. The campaign should be more better, and like there should be good debates among the different parties, and it should be very like educated manner. There should be no like some very not random like going at everybody's house giving money. That should be really cancelled, and very strict law should be made because it is the concern of the future of the nation and us. And also regarding nota, I think a proper law should be made, like if maximum believes that the current candidates are not valuable, then proper decision should be made. And regarding EVMs and other like there can be some possibility of hacking and all. I'm not really aware of if it is proven to be anytime or it is just rumors. But yeah, some technical things like blockchains could be implemented, and it could really be very much helpful. Also, the countries like population is too much, but when we are having in maybe state wise or some smaller elections, that time it could have been implemented. And yeah, also I forgot to mention that there should be some incentives to people like who votes, like because they are expending a lot to come there, like not incentive like from the like direct, like you get some. Oh, I have a battery low, just a second. uh, there could be some incentives like whoever votes gets certain things, but again it might go into corruption side. But like a generic, like everybody who does voting will get some book or something, I don't know, which will again get to like everybody voting. But more focused point should be like campaigning should be better and everybody should be made more educated. Yep.
Yeah, okay, just since we are already done with the feedback, just I wanted to one more point. Like during conclusion, like don't add new points. Like
Ah,
here it's fine, but if you are concluding, then it should only state to whatever the discussion was about.
yes, yes. I
If
said
the
about
additional
incentives
points are
because
there,
I wasn't able to say it in my, like I couldn't say like voting should be made mandatory
like
because
share
of
it during the feedback maybe or maybe later, but
uh-huh.
not during the conclusion
Conclusion.
part.
Okay,
It's
okay, yeah,
conclusion is like a formal part of the our structure,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It is a very great advice. Like I'll have it throughout my life. Anything more you have to add, or
Uh,
shall we go to the Chat GPT and Gemini?
no, I wanted to add one thing. Like this sounds good, but I don't know if it is right. Like when you mentioned about the voting is a right, but if you mentioned something like voting is a right, but if you are not making it compulsory, then are you saying that it is again something against you said? Like countered me against this point about the right voting as a right. You said something.
Mhm.
So what if I had mentioned like voting is not a right; it's a privilege.
Like I should have said, you are saying, or you should have said it to me.
No, if I had mentioned this, like, is it a valid argument?
No, I did not get your perspective, like what you are trying to say. Can you tell what
Like,
you're thinking?
by that I mean, considering voting as a right, instead, if we consider it as a privilege, so how to explain it? I'm not sure how to explain it. It just sounds very fancy.
It
Like
do
for
sound.
driving, it's for driving for I mean the license part, it is very valid. Like for driving is not a right; it's a privilege. And like the license could be taken anytime, so you should value that something like that.
Understood, understood.
Like I heard this related to driving actually somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Never mind. Let's continue.
Okay, let us go to the GPT or Google and research for 1 minute. Hmm. Do you want more time? Yeah.
So I'll start from your side.
Yep.
So there was a good point about. So basically, the point was about if everyone votes, then there will be not like a monopoly kind of situation. Like every party will get, like in such scenarios, if there is a dominant party which gets elected every time due to their power in the voting system. If everyone votes, then this will not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And also higher voting turnouts. It's good for the country because it shows that democracy is healthier and more robust.
Yes, yes. One point which I have from my side is when it is made mandatory, you are somewhere initiating the feel of discussion. There is more discussion and there is more campaign improvement when you make it mandatory and very legal. One point which was a good point I feel. And I could have also mentioned about certain countries where it is mandatory and it is working very well, like Australia and Belgium, but I do not know really like what is the current scenario there. But like it has been made mandatory in many countries. One thing which I could have asked which you could have asked me is making it law can be legal could be expensive. Like there's no proper law, like what should be like penalty, what should be like punishment to people who are not voting. It is not yet clearly stated. So maybe you could have spoken something in that manner. Do you have anything to add?
Uh, from my side, whatever the points are here, like I didn't mention it as such, but you countered them, like all your whatever your points, counter them easily.
Uh-huh.
So basically, here they are saying infringement of individual liberty. So it's like you are forcing everyone to vote and violation of their individual freedom. But again, it's good for democracy. And like the next point was about uninformed protest or votes, like any random votes. But again, you can vote about the nota point easily counters that.
Mm-hmm.
One good point was about logistical challenges and enforcement, like, which you suggested me. Like I should have mentioned about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone votes, then the uh, voting situation will be very difficult. Like to EVMs machine are first of all very expensive, and setting up it at many places, security reasons will be very costly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is it. Maybe Ayush, you could have started in the introduction like I'm not against voting, but I'm against making voting mandatory. You should have started like that, so that it gives a
Yes, I
clearer
think
picture.
it's a good thing.
Yep. Yep. Otherwise, it is showing like you are very negative side. You don't even want to vote. But when you make such
Yeah, I
statement,
sounded very against. Like,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you could have said that. Never mind. This was it. Do you have anything to add to the final discussion?
no, I think I'm fine.
Yes, all fine. Same here. Okay then, chalo. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Yes.